welcome to Out of the Box Radio with me, your host, Christine Blosdale. Out of the Box Radio is a weekly podcast of audible ear candy dedicated to bringing a fresh perspective on this thing that we call life. And each and every week, we're going to be diving into the topics that matter most with lively conversations on issues such as health, wellness, and transformational healing, all with the goal of creating a better world and becoming a happier human being. I will be your tour guide for this epic adventure, and each and every week we're going to be embarking on a journey with the ultimate goal being transformation to our highest potential. And now, let's get out of the box. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am Christine Blosdale, your host, and today I am very, very happy that you tuned in because we are going to find out how we can make a six-figure income while just working part-time. That's right. I said that. I'm going to say it again. How we, you, me, can make a six-figure income working just part-time. And who is going to be informing us on how we can do this and telling us how we can do it? And please, please tell us how we can do it, REEBCCA WHITMAN. REEBCCA WHITMAN is my guest today on the program, and I'm so very happy that she's here because she's going to be filling us in on how we can do that. And she is an accomplished writer and transformational public speaker. She has been a record-setting top producer in all commission sales, selling business to business, and consumer goods and services for over 25 years. And she's going to fill us in on this wonderful idea. I love this idea, REEBCCA. You know why? Because I like to work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Right? That's my, well, if not, I don't want to be a tombstone. I don't want to have a tombstone. I'm going to be my ashes scattered. But I want at my eulogy for them to say, you know what? She worked smarter, not harder.
Exactly. You don't want to be on your last day of life thinking I just squandered my life away working and I didn't enjoy it enough.
Exactly. Exactly. So congratulations on this book. It is available as an audio CD set.
Yes.
It is available on Kindle and paperback. And before we get into the whole nitty gritty, I love to find out how people got to where they are today. So if you don't mind letting our listeners know a little bit of your background and how you got to be where you are today, and in particular, helping people raise some good money for them and their families by not killing themselves working full-time and overtime and all that stuff. But let's talk about your process, how you got here.
Okay, great. So how I got here was I graduated from Princeton, and I started working in all commission sales.
Oh, wow.
Yes, selling anything from Ford cars and trucks to personal care products. And I ended up in Los Angeles to pursue acting, like so many do. And I didn't want to get a full-time job. I wanted to keep my schedule flexible and fluid so I could audition. So I continued in all commission sales. And I ended up making a six-figure income working part-time. And I figured, wow, this is interesting. I moved here to pursue acting, but I ended up learning how to have this lifestyle. So I want to share with other people how to have this lifestyle.
Wow. And so are you still pursuing acting? Are you still doing that?
I'm still pursuing acting and hosting, yes.
Okay. So, but isn't that interesting? And this is how I've learned with so many of us, right? We set out and we say, I'm going to be a blank. Whatever it is, I'm going to be this. I studied, I went to school, and I got a degree in blank.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm supposed to do. And then life kind of throws you a curveball. You can either take that curveball and go, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be a successful blank. I really wanted to do this, and now I got to do this other thing. Or you can look at it and you can go, wow, I happen to be actually quite talented at this other thing.
Right.
And see it for what it's worth, and go after that. So you graduated from Princeton. What did you graduate? What was your major in Princeton?
My major was English literature, and my minor was Italian language and culture.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were you
very not very practical, but very interesting?
Yeah. Were you thinking about going to Italy?
Well, I wanted to get credit for going to Italy for a semester, and the only way I could do that was to minor in Italian.
Smart.
And I don't speak it fluently anymore. A lot of people ask me that, but I understand it.
Yeah. Right. So you graduate, you got your degree from Princeton, and you set off to California to pursue your acting career. And now you had mentioned that you had you were working commission based only,
Right.
which puts a little bit of stress on you, I would think.
It does.
Or could.
I didn't move to California right after college. I had a adventure of living all over the United States, anywhere from Chicago, Kentucky, all over Florida. And in those cities, I was selling different products and all commission sales. So I learned how to find excitement and adrenaline from the whole feast or famine thing.
Yes, it is.
It is.
And so let's talk about those early days.
Yes.
Right? How do you, well, I guess motivation would be probably also the fact of, we all have bills to pay. We've got rent and we need to eat and all of that. But can you remember back then some of the things that you did to help keep you, motivated and positive when it's such a, it's a tough, it can be. Oh, see, there's my preconceived notion already popping in my head. It can be hard.
Right.
But I guess it's all in how you look at it. But some of the things that you did to keep yourself motivated when you're starting out.
Yes, what I did was at least once a month, I attended some kind of a sales or motivational seminar, and I was learning a lot of techniques that I still use to this day, and I really thought of it as getting a master's degree in sales. So I kept myself educated through seminars. I kept myself around positive, like-minded people that were also entrepreneurs and all commission salespeople. And then when I was in my car every day, I tried to listen to some positive sales training or motivational. Then it was tapes in ancient history, cassette tapes on
I remember
sales.
those.
Yeah, exactly.
But now too, with podcasts and the digital spectrum, there's so much too that people can actually pick up from. Right. The book is How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. Let's say for the person that's listening to this, who would this book be for? Who is it? Is it someone who is working? Obviously, they're working full time at a job. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't like it. But let's talk about your target audience for this book. Who is this book really for?
So this book is for people who are either wanting to transition out of the 9-to-5 world and they want to have a side hustle. That's what I call something on the side that can eventually out-earn their current 9-to-5 job. Or it's for people that are already in a business opportunity like all commission sales or in their own business and want to take it to the next level.
And this is, I like this. I read this in your bio. This is not a get rich quick book or a gimmick. And I like that. I like that because a lot of times when you see, even if you're on social media, you'll see things pop up and it's like, how to be a millionaire without, hardly trying or things like that. Right. And then as you get into it or you click on the thing, then there's all these signups and it just goes on and the click funnel thing goes crazy, right? So without giving away too much of the book, because we want people obviously to go out and get it, let's talk about the basics. There are some key areas in your life, correct? That people can start, can start going towards or changing in their lives, right?
Right.
So let's start with those basics.
Okay, so basically in the book, we talk about 7 areas to get balance in, and the money is the last thing to fall into place. So the first thing is your spiritual life, your fitness, your physical life, your emotional life, your romantic life, your mental life, your social life, and finally, your financial life. So there's a lot of areas to balance out before the money comes, and that's what the book is about. It gives you some practical how-to tips on how to maximize each of those areas, and then it ends with some very practical financial and sales advice.
So let's go through because I was starting to write these down and you went fast. So spiritual, Physical,
emotional and romantic,
emotional, romantic,
mental, social,
mental, social,
and financial.
and then financial being the last one.
Yes.
Okay. So I like this approach. So it's not just like right off the top, money, 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 financial, which I find too, when people that I meet who are either trying to become entrepreneurs, who either have a home-based business or they want to start off with doing their own consulting business, coaching, those type of things. A lot of it is surrounding the money aspect. And that's why I always suggest too that if people are going to take this kind of road to, don't quit your full-time job.
Right.
Don't quit your job. The things that are paying your mortgage or your rent or your food. Don't do that, because if you just do that and you jump into the fire, then everybody's going to feel you're desperate.
Right.
Right? Because it's all about the money and the sales. So I like this approach that, with the 7 keys and starting off with something that is actually, for me, I get it. But for other people, we might go, wait a second, your spiritual life, like we need to concentrate on our spirituality. Expand on that, if you don't mind, for our listeners.
Right. So basically, why I start with spirituality is if you're on the adventure of life or the adventure of wanting to maximize your financial success, there are going to be ups and downs. There will be highs and lows and excitements and disappointments. And in order to maintain happiness and maintain your equilibrium, I believe that your reliance should be on a power, not yourself. It could be whatever you want to call it. It could be the ocean, nature, traditional Judeo-Christian God, Buddha, whatever that is.
The universe,
right. Love, God is love, whatever you want to define that outside power. It's going to be the foundation and the bedrock to build this lifestyle from.
I like that.
Great.
I do like that. And also it makes you feel not so all alone. Because so much of this, it can, it can be, some people can say, oh, it's, the preconceived notion. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of hours that you put in, blah, 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 blah. You're going to dispel that with the part-time part here.
Right.
But that aspect of starting your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a coach or consultant, that aspect is lost in a great deal. So I really like that as our foundation.
Yes.
That that developing that spirit, and that means also exposing yourself maybe to some motivational folks that we have. There's such great resources around. Even if it's Eckhart Tolle or Carolyn Mace, or because Carolyn's she's kind of gruff. I like her, but she's not like Pema Chodron. She's not like super gentle. She's just like, stop it, whatever you're doing, stop it. But I'm curious, what are some things that you have relied on over the years that you really love?
Okay, so the people that I've studied the most are Reverend Michael Beckwith at Agape.
Right on.
And he actually is quoted on the back of my book, so that was
nice.
Really exciting. Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham.
Oh, I love Abraham and Esther, yes.
Yeah, they're very, very positive and empowering. And Wayne Dyer, may he rest in peace,
yes.
But I love his teachings.
Yes.
So those are 3 of the biggest teachers that I've learned the most from.
That's a great way to start off. And then the second key on this path is the physical.
Right.
Oh, the physical. Because we like to be in our brains a lot, don't we?
Exactly.
We like to be in our heads. So much of this is also in our heads. Physical, let's talk about that.
So it's more your body is your temple. So once we get the spirituality down, we are not our body, but in order to be a high performer in life, we need to have peak health and high efficiency in our bodies. So that means fruit, vegetables, water, working out, getting plenty of rest, meditation, and just treating our body well. A lot of people in the old paradigm thought you have to just work yourself to exhaustion and work yourself to getting sick. And a lot of people have lost their health and then they have their finances. But what does that mean? I mean,
Right.
in the book, I say that health is really wealth. If you don't have your health and you have all the money in the world, but you can't even enjoy it because you're stuck in bed, what good is it?
And having the ability to, I think it's really important to have the ability to shut things off. You know, you can, I know that I do really well if I'm able to work from home and I multitask. So I can do like 18 different things at the same time, and I'm very fast at what I do. Whatever it is I'm doing, I'm fast and I multitask. But I make sure that throughout that day that I go, okay, I've multitasked. I've been sitting at the computer. My brain has just been spitting out great creative stuff. That's a golden nugget there. That's great there. That's great. Then I do is I reward myself, and I'll say I'm going to take a half an hour break, and I'm going to either I live close to the beach, so I go and I go barefoot, and I either take a little jog along the beach or run. I clear my head. I think about things. I talk to people in my head, not imaginary people,
Yeah.
but people that I need to have a conversation with. I play that out in my head. I'll take that time to go run, and my body feels better for it. It's moving and the circulation is happening, and I get a little clearance, and it's like a little present
Yes.
to myself. And even if I don't do that, as long as like I just take a break and go outside and, you know, smell the fresh air or walk barefoot on the sand so my, you know, my feet can feel the grounding thing, right?
Right.
So those little things are really important, and I feel that allows me to be even more creative than instead of
Exactly.
sitting there pounding away, you know, having those breaks or rewarding yourself, saying, if I do this, then I'm going to go take myself to the gym tonight, or I'm going to do something healthy. I'm going to have a vegetable, you know, juice or something like that. I like that kind of reward.
It's good. I mean, I talk about that in the book and the time management part. It's good to give yourself a set amount of time. Like, I'm going to work really hard at the computer or whatever it is, writing for 2 hours, and then reward myself with something, whether it be a latte or a break or a walk on the beach. It's really good to give yourself a time limit, because I think we can be more productive if we know there's a limited amount of time, whether it's, oh my God, I'm going to be sitting at this computer all day. It's never ending.
Yeah. Oh, that can be daunting.
Yeah.
That can be daunting. And you can just taking a break, if it's a half an hour or an hour break, actually it can really reinvigorate you so that you have the ability to come back and be even more clear-headed. Like I say, I like to take the time away. Even when I'm running or walking on the beach, I'm still working. But what I'm doing is I'm just clearing out my thoughts and saying, you know, asking for and asking through the spiritual for downloads, you know, whatever is the best, whatever is the highest, whatever is supposed to come through now. That'd be helpful.
Yes, exactly.
So again, I'm still multitasking. You see that?
Exactly.
And then the third key here is emotional. It's the I think it was emotional / romantic. So would that
those
be
are two areas?
Oh, there's two separate ones.
Yeah.
You're right, because I can't count. So emotional. Oh, that's kind of important. Let's talk about the emotional part of our life, the area of our life that we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I mean, emotions to me are something that is like a radio. We're listening to the radio right now, and you can turn the channel. It is a practice. It does take focus, but before I started studying some of these principles, my emotions ruled me rather than me ruling my emotions. And of course, there's tragedies like losing a loved one, and there are certain things where you just grieve and the emotions overtake you. But there's so many little things that happen during the day, like, oh, I got a parking ticket, or I'm running late because of traffic. Little things that we don't have to focus on. You know, we can focus on more empowering things, like being in gratitude rather than complaining. That is a big thing.
That is huge. I will tell you, I think that what you just said holds more people back. I am one of the things that I'm very self-conscious of is judgment of others. I am also very self-conscious of what I say, what I physically say to the world, to the universe, to people, to myself, and what I think. Because the thoughts are very powerful, right?
Right.
Self-defeating thoughts that people have. I'm too old. I can't do that. I'm too heavy, or no one will like me, or blah blah blah, blah whatever all the silly.
Why
excuses.
should I try? It's not going to work out anyway. So you can have this great business idea and be motivated and healthy physically and spiritually fit, but if you have some programming, some underlying beliefs, some self-limiting stories saying it's never going to work out, why is this going to be any different? It's not going to go anywhere.
No, it's not going to go anywhere. And you'll find, that's the other thing too, you'll find those roadblocks because you're looking for them.
Right.
And the attitude of gratitude, I find, is so, even if you don't know what you're grateful for.
Right.
You don't even have to, there doesn't have to be something specific that you're grateful for, but if you put it out there that I am, and be grateful for the small things. Someone was, I remember listening to a conversation where everything that was coming out of the person's mouth was so negative. It was just like, I've got to pay, I've got to pay rent. I've got to make sure that I have enough money to pay rent. My house is filthy. This person's doing this to me, blah, blah, blah. And everything was negative. And I was just like, in my mind, and this is how I try to do it because you can slip, sometimes you slip. But what I try and do is when I get a bill for something for the house, whatever it is for the place that I'm living, or if I have to write my rent check, I say, thank goodness, I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm so grateful that I have the ability to live in a beautiful, part of the world. I'm so grateful I don't have bombs falling down on me. I don't have crime all around me. I'm so grateful that I have peace. I'm so grateful. And those type of ways of, even when you're writing your income tax check, that's a big check. Yeah. And because I do a thing at the end of the year, and I wait and I wait and I wait, and I have to write that. And what I do is I write the check and I say, please use this for something positive. I write that to the government. Please use this for something positive. And then I say, thank you. And
nice.
And I'm saying I am grateful to be paying those taxes, because that means also that I made some income. Right.
And that's paving our roads and keeping our traffic lights working, and
it's just
all the little things we take for granted. Yeah.
And as we know, as you know from listening to the wonderful people that you've listened to, when you work from gratitude, in all areas of your life, when you work from gratitude, then you have more things to be grateful for, because that's the energy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the flow.
Yeah, it's being in the flow.
I think that's really, really, the emotional aspect of it is really key when it comes to everything. I mean, when it comes to when we're talking about your career, the income that you can be bringing in for you and your family, but also your health, your relationships. And that's what the next one is, right?
Yes. I mean, your emotions affect everything. And I was just listening to Abraham today, and they're like, well, why do we want money? Why do we want the new relationship or the new car or the vacation? It's because we think it'll make us happy. But why not just choose to be happy before we get that, and then we'll manifest it a lot faster?
Yeah.
And I really believe that happiness is a choice.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, and exactly that. Those outside things will not make you happy. In a relationship, you're only really responsible. The responsibility that you have is not to make the other person happy, but to be a happy whole person by yourself on your own, right?
I agree.
And that's the greatest gift you can give anybody. So relationships. Now, let's get into that.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking about relationships, you're talking about?
I'm talking about romantic relationships.
Romantic relationships.
I can't even say it. It's so heavy. But yeah, I really believe from my research and just my own life that who you are romantically attached to affects your energy, affects your mood, your happiness, your health, everything that we've been talking about so far. because you could be all these things, spiritually connected and physically healthy and happy. And if you're with somebody that is constantly criticizing you or putting you down or stealing your dreams, saying, yeah, I know you want to be this entrepreneur. I know you have this great idea, but it's never going to happen.
Ugh.
That's like the same thing as your own negative thinking. And it's even worse because it's someone you love and that you're looking at face to face and they're telling you, don't even try. You're not going to make it.
Yeah. Oh, dump them. No.
Exactly. I mean, in so many words, if you
Okay.
want to really achieve, your maximum potential in life, you have to be with a romantic partner that is supportive and kind and
Exactly.
loving toward you.
And do you find too that those people in life who who succeed quite well and on the financial spectrum, when they are in relationship with someone who is supportive and who does think positively as well, right? Comes from a place of gratitude as well. Do you find that because it seems to me, and maybe they work on their own, but it also seems to me that they start doing joint projects or things together, which I think is even more powerful. It's wonderful. But have you noticed that there seems to be a synchronicity between the two of them, and maybe they start meshing their different things that they do. They could be from completely different fields,
right?
But they start to work together.
Yeah, I think that when two people are spiritually connected and positive people, they are more powerful than one. It's like two are greater than one, and that they can co-create together and with the universe, and they can be a really powerful force in the world. Absolutely.
I recently got married and
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very happy celebrating a month today.
Great. Wow, you are really a newlywed. 1
yes.
month married. Wow, that's awesome.
Yes. And my beautiful wife, she's completely different field, completely different work, career. But I feel like I'm like, I don't know, there's something that we're going to do together. And because our love is just so pure. Like I just adore every single thing she does. And we're best friends.
It's great.
The energy that we have together, like you said, it's the energy that you have together. We could I think we could sell anything.
Right.
You know?
And when people see you together, they feel that love vibration and they're
Totally.
just magnetized to you.
Totally.
And they want to do things for you.
I know.
They want to give you the best table in the restaurant. They want to let you in traffic. It's contagious.
It's true. I'm gonna maximize our thing on that, baby. Okay, and then the next one is mental.
Right.
Now, mental, would that be along the lines of emotional? No, mental. Okay, I see what you're saying. Mental, explain this.
Okay, so it's always learning. It's never letting yourself go stagnant. So kind of what I was saying about the seminars, and now we don't need to have seminars every weekend because there's podcasts with the most intelligent,
yes.
cutting edge thoughts out there. So just continuing to learn and to expand your mind.
So education, and education doesn't have to be a university per se. It can be, like you said, these different, there's just so many amazing podcasts. And people always have like little different pieces of the puzzle. There's also on social media, like on Facebook, there's these great groups. I have this is one thing that I want to tap into as well. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth. Rebecca, what I've noticed is there is an explosion of women entrepreneurship coming, just like exploding all over the place.
Absolutely.
I've never seen anything like it. And it just seems to be, for me, what I've noticed, it's just been the last few years, and then literally like in the last just couple months, it's just gone astronomical. How?
Right.
Have you noticed this?
I have noticed, and I really believe our country is turning more into a matriarchy than a patriarchy, and we saw it happen with the Me Too movement and how these powerful, previously untouchable Hollywood moguls one by one we're getting dethroned and disempowered. And I just feel like women are coming into their own in the world, and especially in America. And it's a magical time. It's history in the making.
It is, and it's spreading too to other countries.
Yes.
I think women are coming into their own power on a lot of different fronts. On stepping to the bullies, to those who are the sexual predators, to the old boys network, to saying, you know what, if they are mothers and they want to be able to spend more time, quality time with their children and quality time with themselves and better in their spiritual, physical, emotional life, right? Developing that.
Yeah.
Instead of being tied to a job, that 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, rigid. They're saying, you know what, I want to be able to have time with my children. I want to be able to pick them up from school. I want to be able to do things with them. And in order for me to do that, then I do need to become my own boss, or I do need to be a consultant. I do need to take matters in my own hand. And that is just like, I'm just seeing it left and right. And it's so beautiful because these, even like on Facebook, some of these groups that I'm involved with, that I joined, and I'm kind of just watching from the outside because I'm like, wow, they know all this language. They know these things that I'm just learning about.
Right.
And everything from women who are, who have a knack for whatever it is, for making purses, or, developing this, or they're accountants, or they're virtual assistants, which is fantastic.
Right.
Fantastic idea.
Yes.
To be a virtual assistant. If you don't know what that is, folks, Google it, look it up. It's a brilliant idea. To being independent contractors. Fiverr. You can go on Fiverr. Fiverr is Fiverr, I believe, 2 R's. Fiverr. There are people that are doing they're independent, their own boss on voiceover work, on sound editing, on graphic design, on web, doing web consulting, doing websites, doing logo design, everything you can imagine that you need as an entrepreneur. That's the good thing. Anything that you think you could need, somebody to set up your book, to do your editing of your book, to do the artwork of your book, it's all available.
It is.
And it's super affordable.
Yes.
Because they're getting multiple orders, right? Multiple people, customers, clients.
Right.
Thousands of them. And you can be working with somebody that's on the other side of the planet.
And when you think about it, this whole shift of going from a 9 to 5, 40-hour week, rush hour traffic, the whole rat race, to this idea of making a 6-figure income working part-time, it is a more empowered and more feminine way to work, because we like working on different things. We're multitasking.
Yes.
We want to work on our physical life and our spiritual life and our mental life, as well as earn money, and not just be focused on that one thing of earning money.
And also, I like the idea of I like the idea of earning money, raising income for me and my family and the things that I like, and not just making somebody else a lot of money and they're like, oh, we'll pay you a salary. We'll pay you a salary, and by the way, you're going to stay at this salary.
Right.
Because the idea of back in the day, there might have been a thing where, you go to the boss and you see, can I have a raise, please? Please, sir, can I have a raise?
Yes.
And they would hold that over. You go, yeah, maybe we'll see about it at the end of the year. And at the end of the year, you get nothing, or you get whatever there's a party for everybody. You're like, wait, that's not going to help me, right now. But the idea that you are your own boss, and you set the heights of what you can do. I love that. It's a challenge. It can be a challenge. But I really like that you don't have to ask somebody permission to make more money.
And if you want the day off, you just have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, can I take the day off?
Can I take the day off? Right. Yeah. And if you have like a scheduler, an online scheduler, you can say, I'm all booked up solid that day.
Right.
Sold out. I like that. I like that terminology too. So going back down to the keys, after we had mental, we had social. Mm-hmm. We gotta be social.
Right.
Yes.
So we are social animals. And I think one of the bad points of this high-tech, low-touch society is that people are enjoying all these wonderful freedoms. Like you said, you can have a virtual assistant. You can do all these creative projects through different apps, but people are feeling more isolated and more lonely than ever before. And people are just staying at home in their apartment and being very productive and enjoying all this technology, but they're feeling a sadness and a loneliness because there is not as much connection. And how we came into being from the caveman era was there were tribes, and we, hung out around the fire and we told stories, and it's all evolved into us being alone in apartments looking at our iPhone every 5 minutes. So
the glare of the night, being in the dark room and the glare of the phone.
Right.
Yes.
And I think to find a community that you resonate with, whether that's at your yoga class or a spiritual community or doing meetups or, like you said, the Facebook groups, but also finding time to meet people in person.
In person,
and
right.
like right now, you and I are talking eye to eye. I could have called in.
It's not the same,
It's
is
not
it?
the same. It's not the same face to face.
Yes.
There's definitely a deeper connection. And so I encourage people to stay social, find groups, find time for lunch dates and vacations with groups. And groups are really good.
I agree. Happy hour.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed at happy hour nobody's really happy because they're working 9 to 5 and they're kind of like drowning their sorrows?
Well, sometimes it just depends on. I guess it would depend on the folks that
you're with.
And usually they always talk about the day of work. Oh, I had such a hard day today.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm doing. That's one of the things that I'm starting now is doing and it's. At the moment, it's focused on women in business doing networking gatherings.
Great.
And they're starting off with like a smallish group of women, but supporting each other too. And when you go to these networking events, and folks, if you go wherever, if you're going to a small business or entrepreneur business, any kind of networking is really great because you get to go and meet. First of all, you're meeting other fellow entrepreneurs, right? And you will inadvertently, you'll find someone who actually has the key to something that you also need as well, because these are all people that are doing just like you. They're out doing their stuff. They're skilled in some area. They have amazing talent. And when you get out and you get to actually meet them, you'll find out, oh, wow, you happen to be a photographer. You do headshots. I need a headshot from my new business. I have nothing except for selfies from my iPhone,
Yeah.
I need something. Oh, and that's the opportunity that you have as well when you go to these networking events or these socials where you can actually meet new people. I think it's really, really important. And you can still tie it into your business, you see?
Yeah,
You see?
and it's like combining fun with
Exactly.
your business.
And ours always has a little bit of wine.
Yes.
Just saying. Okay, so the next one would be, the final one, which is the financial aspect, the money.
The money.
Let's talk about the money,
That's the
Rebecca.
last piece of the puzzle.
We're more than halfway in the show, and now we're talking about money. Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it. So what the financial piece is finding something that you are excited about, because we're always selling. To me, sales is just convincing someone that your point of view is right. And we're selling all the time. We're like, oh, I love that movie. You got to go see the movie. You got to read this book. You got to go to this restaurant. When you go to the restaurant, you got to have this cheesecake for dessert. We're always selling. Selling is just sharing our opinion. So if we get really excited about a product, a good, a service, a concept, and we can just share our opinion coming from truth, that's something that would be a great opportunity.
Yes. Very much so. Very much so. So in the book, it's How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time by Rebecca Whitman. What are, again, not giving away the whole thing, the whole enchilada, but what are some things, tips that you give people who, let's say they're transitioning, let's say they want to transition out of the 9 to 5. What are some things that you can recommend to folks to start to get them on that road of how to make 6 figures?
Well, I talk about time management, and I talk about having your focus days. So if your business was what you were doing full time, then you would say, okay, these are my 4 focus days, and the other 3 days I'm just going to play and have fun. But if you already have a 9 to 5 job, then obviously your focus days are going to be, Saturday or Sunday.
Correct.
And you're going to be totally focused on what it takes to get your business off the ground.
And because I think for so many people, this is what I've heard is I know that I hate my job. I don't like my job. I'm overworked or I'm underpaid. I know that there's something, I want to do something else. I would love to work part-time and know that I got everything covered and then some. But most people, they don't know where to start.
They don't know what they want.
They don't know, right. They don't know what they would do. They're like, I've been working for 10 years, 15 years at this factory, or I've been working in this office, and all I know is that I push papers around and I answer phone calls, and I'm really good at that, but I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do something else, and they just don't know where to go. They don't know what the first step is. Do you have any advice for them on that?
Well, that goes back to the question, what are they excited about in life? What do they do for fun on their days off? And then it's the question, if they won the lottery and didn't have to work, what would they do with their time and money? And that's what they can start with, whether it's, starting a dog walking business, maybe someone loves baking, a bakery, whatever that is, whatever it is that you find enjoyable to do when you're not working, that's where you would start.
That's because I always say that there's so many things that we are really good at that we don't ever think that we can monetize or make money at.
That's another great question.
Right?
What is your superpower? What do people always think you're good at?
Right. And it would surprise you that there is always somebody that is interested and wants what you can do.
Yeah, and if you don't know, ask your 5 closest people in your life, what am I good at? What's my one thing? If you could say the one skill I have, what would that be?
Right. So let's say somebody goes, okay, I have an idea of what I could do. Let's say it's coaching or consulting, and was there a plan? Is there something? I know because this would have to be real specific to that particular thing. But for people to get started, you talked about time management. What are some other helpful tips that you can give somebody who's like, okay, I know I'm really good at this, and I think I can be a consultant and get business from that. What are just some kind of little tips that you have for people who can start so that they can eventually get out of their horrible job that they hate?
Well, they would have to generate leads. So they would have to figure out who their target market is. And then once they figure that out, they would have to set up meetings. And then at the meetings, they would want to do some kind of a presentation. So I talk a lot in the book about how to present and how to sell once you're actually sitting across from somebody.
You mentioned leads. Now that's the thing.
Leads.
What I also witnessed is that a lot of times people will have some good ideas, but they don't know who their audience is. They don't know who their customers would be.
Right.
That would be something before they quit their job, right? That they would need to figure out. Is that something that you've noticed, especially with people who are just starting out, that they don't have a firm grasp of who their customers are?
Yeah, you want to figure out who wants your good or service, but with Facebook and Instagram being so prevalent, everybody's on there all day, and the ads are really cheap.
Yeah.
So you can utilize social media to start getting leads once you figure out what you're actually selling and how you want to market it. Leads is the most important thing, and you can definitely utilize Facebook and Instagram for leads.
And you can target those ads like real
specifically to what
if it's just women or men, or if it's a particular age group or a particular demographic. If it's something that is that's not it's not location desired. Like if it's something that's it's only going to be. It needs to target people in Los Angeles, or it can be something that targets people all across the country. It doesn't matter where you live, type thing.
Exactly.
I find a lot of times too, people they know they're not happy in their current situation. They're not happy in their job, what they're doing, they know that they want to do something else. And here's the thing which plagues it, and it's plagued me for a long time. Being kind of good at a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when somebody says, "Oh, what do you do?" And you have, if you're at a social, if you're at a networking mixer, and now most people, the people who are on top, man, and there's just, you say, "What do you do?" And they go, "I am a boom, 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 and I do boom, boom, boom for people and boom, boom, boom." And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's those of us who are like, well, what do I not do? Oh my goodness. Okay. I do this, I do that, I do this. Talk about the importance of narrowing that focus. Even though you are great at a lot of things,
right?
Maybe narrowing that in so that people can get a complete understanding of what it is that you do.
But it's also knowing your audience, because if you are good at different things and you're talking to someone in the tech world, it's like, oh, I'm good at coding, and it just, if you have that many skills, then why limit yourself? So I also believe in diversifying your income streams and having multiple income streams, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because if you have your own business and you have like other things like real estate or investments or
it's diversification.
Yeah, diversification. You're not relying on one thing.
Right.
So if you have that many skills, you just got to know who you're talking to.
So you have multiple? Well, yeah, you do.
Yes.
So what are some examples of the different streams of income that you have?
That I have?
Yeah.
Well, my main job is I run a children's acting school, and it's a wonderful school in Hollywood called The Playground, and I make a commission off the acting classes. So that's my bread and butter job.
Gotcha.
And then I have on the side motivational speaking, and then I have a rental property, and I also have a financial portfolio, just to name a few.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. We have to talk after. I need to hear about your stocks. Tell me about your stocks.
I don't know, because I have a financial advisor. I also believe in like delegating, like to what I am not good at. Just finding someone who's good at it and let them handle it, because I don't have the time to study the stock market, nor am I very interested in it.
Let's talk about delegating.
Yes.
Young entrepreneurs out there, I know you want to save money. And I know you want to do it all because you're control freaks, but some of y'all you're not web designers, you're not graphic artists, you're not accountants. I know it. Me personally, I gloss over, or you talk about an Excel sheet or QuickBooks I just go, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the creative type.
Yeah, me too.
I am not a numbers. I never have been. I remember when I came home from school one day, I had a report card and my dad looked at it and it was A's in everything. Right? A's in English, A's in history, A's in science. Oh, I love science. A's. And then in one of the categories, I don't know if it was algebra or geometry, I got like a D. And he looks and he's like, wow, A plus, A minus. And then he looks at my math thing and he goes, D. He goes, you know what, Christine? He goes, for some people, 2 plus 2 is 4. He goes, not necessarily for you. I said, exactly, Dad. Yeah. 2 plus 2 is, who says 2 plus 2 is 4? It was a joke between my dad. But yeah, that's not my strong suit. So what I'm saying is that I would not necessarily be doing my taxes or my books.
Me neither.
I would have somebody else that does it that's really good at that.
And people love to do certain things. Like some people love
love
math,
numbers.
And they love Excel spreadsheets and PowerPoint presentations and all that. And they don't like to think creatively. So it's like finding your team and surrounding yourself with people that complement your skill set.
I have somebody in my life who's really good at negotiating, super good at negotiating, but has a harder time expressing, in copy, in written, and can use assistance in getting something that sounds really good, that reads really well. And so that's something that you can kind of switch out with on skills. You could say that I can help you with that. I'll sit there and that's the skill set that I have. I used to write for AOL and MSN, so I know how to shrink that. Messages too. When you're pitching yourself, your service, your book, or anything like that, I noticed too that for me, what works for me, and I, as a producer who sees things coming across, a lot of times less is more.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, when I get something from somebody and it's just small bullet points of this is what I do, this is what I can bring, that helps me digest it much quicker than a long dissertation.
That's
Right?
a great point, because this book is not a long book. It's 76 pages.
Fantastic.
And a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's too short. It's too short. But the more I talk to people like yourself, you're a producer, and we are moving faster with all this technology, people don't want to sit down and read a 200-page book. They want it fast. So this book
Boom,
is
boom, boom.
76 pages. It's broken down into 7 chapters, one for each area, and you can sit down and read it in an hour to an hour and a half, and then you have tools that you can start taking into your daily life.
And that's what one of the things that the wonderful Craig Duswalt of Rockstar Marketing Bootcamp has said is that one of the best things to have to promote yourself and to brand you is a book, and it does not have to be a big book, and that everybody has a book within them. It doesn't matter if you're a mom who's at home and you make $20 last year the whole week for food for your kids. If there's a book that has there's the making of a book in there. It doesn't matter what it is that you do. But he said it is better, those books, especially the smaller ones, that is so important to give to people too, because people will throw away a business card,
Right.
but they ain't throwing away a book.
That's true.
I've tried. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't throw away a book, because you're like somebody look at that they put a lot of time in that,
Right.
even if it's a small book,
Right.
but you can't throw them away.
Exactly.
So it's a very clever way. It's a clever way to stay in somebody's psyche as well. Plus, then you're an author,
Right.
right? And with that comes because most people think that you can't write a book. Like most people, the average person says, in order for me to write a book, I need to have I need to have a degree in English, and I need
Right.
to write Shakespeare. I need to write
Right.
8,000 pages.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that.
You just write about what you know.
You write about what you know. Exactly.
Exactly.
And you probably have a lot of different books inside you, Rebecca.
Yeah, I think so. I think this might be the first of many.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's How to Make a 6-Figure Income Working Part-Time, Rebecca Whitman. And now, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, I have a website. It's RebeccaElizabethWhitman.com.
Okay.
You can also find me on Facebook under Rebecca Whitman, and on Instagram under Reb, R-E-B, Whitman, W-H-I-T-M-A-N. And we have lots of exciting events and different things coming up. Like we have a book launch party coming up June 24th at Mystic Journey Bookstore in Abbot Kinney. And I'll be talking about the book and answering questions.
And then you're going to be doing some other little bit larger events as well, right?
Yes,
So people
we'll be
can find
doing
that?
some seminars in the near future.
Fantastic.
And I'm also going to be doing some coaching, so private coaching for a select few. So yeah, get in touch with me via my Gmail is the same as my website. It's RebeccaElizabethWhitman@gmail.com.
RebeccaElizabethWhitman.com or RebeccaElizabethWhitman@gmail.com. And for the book, they can get that. Where can they get that?
The book you can get on Amazon.com. It comes in the CD version if you don't want to sit down and read, even though it's a short read. The Kindle version, then, of course, the paperback version.
And the audio CD, that's you?
That's
That
my
you?
voice.
Thank you.
That is me.
I'm telling you.
That is me talking.
I've talked to a couple wonderful authors and writers, and they come out with this book, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that you have the book, the paperback book. I love, because I do. I like books too.
Yes.
But I love the audio version of the book. I love it because I get to actually hear the person, and the personality comes out.
Right.
And I've had a couple friends who they had the book and they go, that's not my voice. I go, what do you mean it's not your voice? Well, no, it's not my voice. It's an actress who's reading the book. And I said, you know what? Okay, next time you do that, talk to me. Don't do that, because it's you. It's your personality. You know, you want to have that come through. the piece. But anyway,
I agree.
I'm gonna have to talk to some people. Okay, so I want to thank you so very much, Rebecca Whitman, for joining us this hour. It is a pleasure to meet you, and I hope that we have you back on again when you have some other stuff too that you got coming down the pike.
Yeah, I would love that.
Come back on. It's the book again is How to Make a Six-Figure Income Working Part-Time. We like that. Remember, multiple prongs, right?
Right.
Spinning multiple plates, right? But all doable. Different assets. Diversify.
Yes.
Diversify. I like that.
Exactly.
Because I could do that. And if I could do that, you can do that, listeners. Rebecca Whitman, thank you so very much again for joining us. And I want to thank you, wonderful listeners, for tuning in this week. Remember to tune in again next week, or if you want to make sure you never, ever miss an episode, subscribe to the podcast. You can subscribe at the YouTube channel. That's probably the best way. Out of the Box Radio. Do that, and you will never miss an episode. And it's easy for you to share these shows with friends and family through email and on your social media. Way easy to do. Until next time, I want to remind you to always think outside of the box. Bye for now.